You might not realize it, but the way you handle your leftovers, especially what you choose to reheat, could quietly shape your health, energy, and independence in your senior years. Some foods, when reheated, become gentler, stronger, and more nourishing. Others, they silently work against your body, increasing inflammation, upsetting digestion, and even affecting memory and heart health. This isn't just theory, it's backed by science, including findings from journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and the Journal of Gerontology, which highlight how reheated foods uniquely impact the aging body. So today, you'll discover 3 foods you must reheat to unlock their full benefits, and 3 you should never reheat again, no matter how convenient it may seem. And stay with me until the end, where I'll reveal one seemingly healthy leftover that may actually be draining your vitality without you knowing it. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 3 foods seniors should reheat for energy, balance, and digestive strength. 1. Lentil stew, a gentle reboot for immunity and strength. In the quiet hours of the day, when the house feels still and the body begins to whisper its needs, there's something deeply restorative about a warm bowl of lentil stew. To the untrained eye, it may seem like just another leftover, but for seniors, it holds far more than sustenance. When prepared with care and reheated with intention, lentil stew becomes a form of nourishment that speaks to the core needs of the aging body: strength, calm, balance. Lentils are among the most ancient and healing legumes in human history. They carry with them a legacy of survival and resilience, qualities we grow to value more with each passing year. Rich in plant-based protein, iron, folate, and magnesium, lentils support everything from blood cell formation to nerve relaxation. And when lentils are gently stewed with vegetables like carrots, garlic, or spinach, then left to rest and slowly reheated the next day, they become even more digestible and powerful. What makes reheated lentil stew especially beneficial for seniors is the transformation that happens during the cooling and reheating process. The fibers in lentils break down slightly, making them easier for the digestive tract to absorb. Prebiotic compounds emerge more accessibly, which feed the good bacteria in the gut, supporting immune defense, reducing inflammation, and easing constipation, a common concern in later years. Moreover, the slow release of energy from lentils helps stabilize blood sugar levels, avoiding the crashes that can lead to fatigue or mental fog. Unlike fast-burning carbohydrates, lentils offer a steady, nourishing fuel, ideal for seniors managing diabetes or simply looking to maintain mental clarity and physical stamina throughout the day. Beyond the science, there's something emotionally grounding about lentil stew. Its aroma, especially when reheated with a hint of cumin or rosemary, feels like a warm embrace. It brings back memories of family tables, quiet winters, and meals made with love. It's simple, yes, but it's in that simplicity that we often find the deepest comfort. And perhaps more importantly, it's easy to prepare in batches, refrigerate, and reheat, making it a practical yet profoundly healing choice for seniors living alone or managing limited energy. Every spoonful is a reminder. Food doesn't need to be fancy to be powerful. It needs to be right for the moment and for the body. When seniors choose to reheat lentil stew, they aren't just feeding their hunger, they're replenishing vitality at the root. And while lentil stew nourishes the body from the inside, the next food on our list goes even further. It hydrates, protects the joints, and comforts the soul in a way that few meals can. Let's explore the gentle healing magic of this next warm dish. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Quinoa with vegetables, a powerhouse in every spoon. In a world that often equates strength with complexity, there's something quietly heroic about a dish as simple as quinoa with vegetables. At first glance, it might not look extraordinary. Soft grains mixed with tender vegetables, maybe a touch of olive oil or a sprinkle of herbs. But for seniors seeking not just to eat, but to heal with every bite, this humble combination becomes an unexpected powerhouse. And when gently reheated, it becomes even more profound, nourishing not just the body, but the rhythm of daily life. Quinoa, often called a supergrain, is technically a seed, and it holds within it all 9 essential amino acids, something few plant-based foods can claim. This makes it a complete protein source, ideal for older adults looking to maintain muscle mass and strength without overburdening the digestive system. But there's more. Quinoa is naturally gluten-free, rich in magnesium, iron, and antioxidants, and it contains compounds that support heart health, bone density, and even cognitive clarity. As we age, these nutrients don't just help us survive, they help us feel present, steady, and capable. When cooked, cooled, and reheated, quinoa undergoes a subtle but important change, the formation of resistant starch. This starch resists digestion in the small intestine and instead feeds the good bacteria in the colon, fueling a healthier gut environment that supports everything from immunity to mood. Seniors who reheat quinoa the next day are giving themselves a meal that's not only easier to digest, but also deeply supportive of their internal balance. The vegetables, whether it's zucchini, sweet bell peppers, broccoli, or spinach, add more than color. As they're reheated, the natural plant fibers soften further, unlocking antioxidants and phytochemicals that reduce inflammation, protect vision, and support circulation. And unlike many heavier dishes, reheated quinoa with vegetables offers a light, clean energy. It won't spike blood sugar or weigh down digestion, making it perfect for a midday meal or a comforting dinner. There's also the emotional layer. For seniors who may live alone or have smaller appetites, a warm bowl of reheated quinoa with vegetables feels intentional, comforting, and manageable. It reminds the eater that taking care of one's health doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent, thoughtful, and kind. And while quinoa with vegetables offers quiet, consistent strength, the next food on our list taps into something deeper, a sense of warmth, nostalgia, and cellular restoration that only nature's sweetest root can provide. Let's turn to a dish that comforts as much as it heals. 3. Sweet potatoes, comfort food that strengthens from within. There's something unmistakably soothing about sweet potatoes. Their warmth, their gentle sweetness, their vibrant color that feels like sunlight on a plate. For seniors, especially those navigating the subtle changes in energy, balance, and digestion that come with age, sweet potatoes offer more than just comfort. They are a quiet, powerful ally, one that grows more generous when gently reheated. Unlike their paler cousin, the white potato, sweet potatoes are low on the glycemic index. This means they don't cause the sharp blood sugar spikes that leave you feeling sluggish or foggy. Instead, when reheated properly, whether baked, mashed, or steamed, they provide a steady, nourishing energy that sustains the body over hours. This is especially valuable for older adults managing diabetes or simply trying to avoid the midday crash that can sap vitality. What makes reheated sweet potatoes so special is how they preserve their rich concentration of nutrients. They are brimming with beta carotene, a precursor to vitamin A that supports vision, immune resilience, and skin health. Three areas where aging often makes us more vulnerable. They also contain potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure, and fiber, which keeps digestion smooth and consistent. And here's a quiet truth. When sweet potatoes are cooked, cooled, and reheated, their resistant starch content increases, just like in oats or quinoa, feeding good gut bacteria and reducing internal inflammation over time. But beyond their physical benefits, sweet potatoes nourish something deeper. Their aroma, earthy, warm, slightly sweet, evokes memories of family meals, holiday tables, and colder evenings wrapped in blankets. That sense of emotional nourishment is not trivial. For many seniors, the act of eating is as much about memory and connection as it is about nutrients. Reheated sweet potatoes with a drizzle of olive oil or a dash of cinnamon can feel like a return to something safe, familiar, and deeply human. They are also wonderfully versatile, soft enough for sensitive teeth, adaptable to both sweet and savory meals, and easy to batch prepare and reheat. This makes them an ideal staple in a senior's weekly menu. In every bite, they say, "You are cared for and your body still matters." Yet, even as we embrace these healing meals, we must also confront an uncomfortable truth. Not all leftovers are harmless. In fact, some foods, though once healthy, may become silent saboteurs when reheated, quietly affecting digestion, heart health, and memory. It's time to turn to the other side of the plate and uncover the three foods seniors should never reheat. What you learn next may surprise you. Three foods seniors should never reheat. Hidden dangers in everyday leftovers. 1. Scrambled eggs, from nourishment to internal stress. For many seniors, scrambled eggs have been a lifelong staple, comforting, familiar, and easy to prepare. They bring back memories of morning routines, quiet breakfasts, and moments of simplicity. But what most people don't realize is that scrambled eggs lose much of their goodness once they're reheated, and worse, they can begin to work against the very systems that need the most protection in our later years. When eggs are freshly cooked, they offer a beautiful blend of nutrients: high-quality protein, essential amino acids, choline for brain function, and vitamin D for bone support. They're soft, satisfying, and generally well tolerated. But that benefit only lasts during the first preparation. When eggs cool and are later reheated, especially in the microwave or over high heat in a pan, their proteins undergo structural changes. These proteins, once gentle and supportive, become denatured a second time, turning more rigid and harder for the aging digestive system to break down. The result? Bloating, indigestion, and discomfort, common issues that many seniors quietly battle without connecting the dots back to what's on their plate. But the concern doesn't stop with digestion. Scrambled eggs, particularly those cooked with butter or oil, contain cholesterol and fats that are vulnerable to oxidation when reheated. These oxidized fats may contribute to low-grade inflammation, stiffening of arteries, and subtle disturbances in metabolic balance. For an older adult already managing high blood pressure or cholesterol, this added burden, meal after meal, can accumulate in the background without dramatic warning signs. The price you pay may not show up all at once. It may come as a vague tiredness that follows breakfast, a foggy head in the early afternoon, or a stomach that never quite settles. It may appear as rising cholesterol levels on your next lab test, or simply as a feeling that your meals no longer leave you energized. Over time, that cumulative wear on your body steals something precious: the feeling of lightness and control that good nutrition is meant to bring. Fresh eggs, enjoyed immediately after cooking, can still be a valuable part of a senior's diet, but resist the urge to save leftovers or reheat yesterday's scramble. What seems like a harmless habit is, in truth, a silent compromise to your health. And while reheated eggs are a quiet disruptor, the next food may be even more deceptive, something earthy and nourishing on the surface, but hiding microbial risks and digestive distress beneath. It's a favorite of many, yet few understand the danger that reheating brings. Let's take a closer look. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Cooked mushrooms. A risk hiding in soft texture. There's something earthy, grounding, and deeply satisfying about mushrooms. Their rich, umami flavor often feels like a connection to nature itself, a reminder of forests, stillness, and ancient wisdom. For many seniors, mushrooms are seen as a smart choice, low in calories, high in antioxidants, and soft enough to be easily enjoyed. But when these once wholesome bites are reheated after cooking, they carry hidden dangers that aren't obvious until the body begins to respond. Mushrooms are complex foods. Their proteins and amino acids are delicate by nature and sensitive to heat. When you cook mushrooms the first time, those compounds are altered, broken down just enough to be digestible. But reheating mushrooms a second time transforms those same structures once again, turning them into compounds that the aging digestive system may no longer process efficiently. What begins as a nourishing food can quickly shift into one that causes bloating, stomach discomfort, or a sense of sluggishness, sensations that many seniors chalk up to just getting older, when in fact, they're signals of stress from the inside out. Even more concerning is what happens when mushrooms are not stored or reheated properly. Because they're often sauteed in butter or oil, they become especially vulnerable to bacterial overgrowth if left at room temperature too long or not reheated evenly. Harmful microbes like Clostridium botulinum or Listeria don't always make themselves known with dramatic symptoms. But in a body with a slower immune response, the damage can begin quietly, affecting digestion, energy, and even nerve function over time. The price you pay isn't just a bad afternoon. It can be days of unexplained fatigue, a tight stomach that won't settle, or an increasing sense of imbalance and inflammation in the joints. For seniors who are already navigating chronic health conditions, these subtle impacts can tip the scale, causing setbacks that feel disproportionate to the seemingly innocent meal that caused them. Even nutritionally, reheated mushrooms no longer serve the same purpose. Their antioxidant content degrades under repeated heat, leaving behind little to protect you from the oxidative stress that naturally increases with age. What you're left with is food that looks comforting but acts as a hidden stressor. Let mushrooms be a part of your diet, but enjoy them fresh, prepared with care, and never twice cooked. Sometimes protecting your health means letting go of habits that convenience alone cannot justify. And just when you think the worst might be behind you, the next leftover on our list reveals an even deeper concern: a beloved comfort food that may be quietly working against your heart, nerves, and memory. What is it, and why does it pose such a serious risk when reheated? You're about to find out. 3. White potatoes with butter or cream, a comfort food that quietly betrays. There are few foods more tied to memory and comfort than white potatoes. Soft, familiar, and deeply rooted in American family traditions, they've graced tables for generations. At Sunday dinners, holiday feasts, and cozy weeknights. For many seniors, a warm helping of mashed or baked potatoes feels like home on a plate. But beneath their golden, creamy surface lies a quiet truth. When reheated, white potatoes can betray the very comfort they once promised. At first glance, they seem harmless, but white potatoes are naturally high on the glycemic index, meaning they break down rapidly into sugar in the bloodstream. This effect is already present in freshly cooked potatoes, but when cooled and then reheated, particularly with butter, cream, or cheese, their starches undergo changes that can worsen insulin resistance, especially in aging bodies with decreased sensitivity to blood sugar fluctuations. The result is more than just a temporary spike. It's a prolonged strain on your system, disrupting energy, circulation, and mental clarity. For seniors, the implications can be especially serious. A reheated serving of buttery mashed potatoes may seem simple, but it can lead to post-meal fatigue, foggy thinking, or even tingling and numbness in the extremities. Over time, those silent symptoms accumulate into larger concerns: declining mobility, increased inflammation, and a weakened cardiovascular system that no longer responds as it once did. The price you pay often hides in plain sight. You may feel more tired after lunch, chalk it up to age, and miss the fact that your leftover potatoes are quietly draining your energy. You might notice your knees ache more, or your walk feels less steady, unaware that your reheated comfort food is contributing to the inflammation simmering beneath the surface. And perhaps most concerning of all is what happens when these meals are microwaved in plastic containers. Heat can cause harmful chemicals like BPA to leach into the food, introducing endocrine disruptors into a system already more vulnerable with age. While sweet potatoes offer antioxidants and healing compounds, white potatoes, especially reheated with fats, offer little protection in return. They fill the stomach but don't fortify the body. They satisfy the tongue but often strain the systems that need support the most. In a season of life when every choice matters, it's worth rethinking even the most nostalgic dishes. Let white potatoes be a memory you cherish, not a habit that quietly holds you back. But now that we've seen what to avoid, it's time to ask a more hopeful question. Which small daily choices can rebuild strength, sharpen the mind, and rekindle vitality, even in your 70s, 80s, or beyond? The answers may surprise you. Conclusion: a deeper kind of nourishment. As we move through the later chapters of life, every choice we make, especially at the table, becomes more meaningful. Gone are the days when we could eat without thought, rush through meals, or treat food as a simple convenience. In these years, food becomes something else entirely: a quiet medicine, a reflection of care, and a daily opportunity to honor the body that has carried us through so much. Reheating leftovers may seem like a small habit, hardly worth noticing, but for seniors, it can shape the course of a day or even a season of health. Some foods, like lentil stew, quinoa with vegetables, or sweet potatoes, gently remind the body that nourishment can be both healing and simple. These are the meals that support digestion, steady the mind, and help the heart continue its steady rhythm. Reheated with care, they become a quiet form of self-respect. Others, however, ask us to let go. As comforting as they may be, scrambled eggs, sautéed mushrooms, and creamy white potatoes, when reheated, can slowly chip away at our energy, clarity, and vitality. The effects may be silent at first, a little more fatigue here, a bit more stiffness there, but over time, these small compromises gather weight. They remind us that comfort and well-being are not always the same thing. The price we pay for convenience can be invisible, but real. And the reward for mindful eating, even in the smallest details, is greater than most realize. Steadier energy, lighter steps, sharper thinking, and a renewed sense of agency over our own well-being. Aging well doesn't require perfection. It asks for awareness. It asks that we tune in, listen to our bodies, honor what we feel, and make choices not out of habit, but out of love for the life still ahead. So as you open your fridge tomorrow, don't just ask, "What's easy?" Ask instead, "What will serve me today?" Because in this season of wisdom, every meal is a chance to heal, to strengthen, and to live fully, one thoughtful bite at a time. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.